So this is Blandine, the last variation, and I thought it might be interesting to just document a bit of the process. So it's all happening on my phone in FL Mobile, and this is what it looks like. So we have the piano roll. Tells you the key that we're in at the bottom left. So the part that we're variating is taken from the main theme, which is originally in D harmonic minor. And we've moved it to natural minor, so it sounds slightly less dramatic and a little bit more melodic. And I'm just trying to add a few, because we're repeating a section, trying to, on the second time round, adding a few notes in, changing a couple of bits, making it a little different, so it's not just the same thing twice, because that's lazy. FL is nice on the phone when it actually works properly. This didn't go too badly, but there's been a few times where I'm trying to select a note and it just won't do it. Trying to resize, it just won't do it. And I always forget to highlight after you brought the velocities, which is that menu I just brought up, is the velocity of each note or the volume. If you highlight and then bring it up, it then unselects what you've highlighted, which is mildly annoying. There's not really too much to this. The original Blandine theme, the 9-minute one, which is probably far too long for a theme, is not really in the style of late Liszt, but inspired by, I guess, which always just feels a bit dorky to say. It's inspired by late Liszt. Yeah, this whole thing is about his the passing of his daughter, so yeah, it's all inspired by that. And his later stuff is characterized a lot by these quite atonal or chromatic and quite sparse. So the main Blandine theme, excuse me, is like a collection of ideas that just sort of like sparsely put together. And so the variations, there's quite a lot of difference, I think, because it's not just this one theme we're variating. There's a lot of bits to pull out from a 9-minute piece, and there's a lot of just simple things. Like one of them is a theme reversed. There's a lot of changing it to a different key, tempos obviously, and then there's a couple that start on a section from the theme and then wander off into from chromatic into a key or back out again. This one so far, which is unfinished, and it's the day before publishing, so I better get it finished. So far is all in D minor natural, which is just D minor. I'm trying to think, because I don't play piano, I'm trying to think what would a pianist do, given that I don't actually know much about the piano. So like the left, it's roughly split, so left and right hand, top and bottom there, obviously. There's no more than 3-4 notes at a time per hand. Like try to keep that in mind. The stretches aren't too big, like it should all be under the average hand. I've tried to keep that in mind for the whole thing. And there is a reasonable amount of theory in there, like inversions of chords and all that kind of thing. Sticks in key where I wanted it to and goes chromatic where I wanted it to. It's not completely random. I do sort of know what I'm doing, kind of. So FL does have this nice feature that I've been trying not to overuse, but you can, I'll do it in a minute because I'm recording the narration afterwards. If you highlight a section, you can just stretch the whole section out. Instead of having to manually adjust everything, it will just stretch the entire section, which is handy. Now I've selected the wrong bit at the top there. So you can see this bit there, it just shrinks the whole section. Instead of having to manually move every note, it will just move everything, which is nice. Although it can, you'll see it leads to that very tiny note at the end of that section, which I, for some reason, don't see on this first pass. You just hear that really awkward little skip. A lot of this is trial and error. It's just trying stuff that sounds nice, and if something sounds kind of awkward, fiddle with it till it sounds nice. It's just more discovering what a pretend piano can do that is still realistically playable. Because although this is computer music, and I guess it's technically, I don't know, pianists probably would, I don't know how they'd feel about computer music, but a person should still be able to play this. But then the whole set of variations, it should still all be playable, which I did try to bear in mind through the whole process. This does suffer a little bit because going through, because it's piano roll and it's on the grid, every note of every chord all hits exactly at the same time, which is unrealistic. So part of this process for each variation has been going through and pulling out things to make it a bit more natural. That is the end of the video, and I've been talking for too long. So, Blandine Variations. It's on my Bandcamp. The link is in the description. Buy it if you like. Don't buy it. Doesn't matter. Thanks.